Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match reaction. Manchester United 2, Everton 0, and a really professional performance by United. Job done, 3 points on the board. I think we actually go within 3 points of Spurs, who are in 5th ahead of us. They do have 2 games in hand as well. So we've got the guys in as always. We've got Ben, we've got Chris there as well. I'm not sure if Oshin is joining us. But look, happy days. Who needs Oshin at this time? You know what I mean? When we've got the boys. But look, happy days. Chris, I'll go to you first, right? Because obviously I was getting the sense from you in the chat that you're not massively happy with that performance, or am I completely wrong?
No, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, a win's a win, but I'm not happy on. I was just listening to the stats because, well, had some priorities I had to get to, so I was a little late. So, but no, I mean, they outshot us. We had more shots on target. They had more crosses. I mean, the possession was only 59 or 51-49 to us. So, I mean, I just think that on a team of Everton's caliber, we should have run that game. Possession should have been at the very least, 60-40. We should have held it, a lot better than we do. I mean, I'll take the win, but like Oshin pointed out in the chat, I mean, if you take the 2 penalties away, we didn't create that many chances. So
It's a good point.
I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little worried about that. I mean, I'll take the win. I'm not gonna bash him or anything too bad, but I mean, it's just one of the things where because of who we played, I mean, let's just put it this way: any of the top 5 teams, we're 6 right now. Any of the top 5 teams, the way Everton played today, they would have smashed them completely. It would have been 4-0, 5-0. I believe that, and I think that's where we're lacking at that point. We need to have a killer instinct to put the game away as soon as possible. I mean, it should have been 4-0. We should have beat them the way Everton was playing.
Yeah. Ben, we probably missed Rasmus Højlund an awful lot in that attack, I think. That real focal point to go on and get goals for us. But we've mentioned before that, controlling games is something that we want to improve an awful lot. For me personally, I thought we did control that game an awful lot better, especially in the second half. Well, I think once we got the second goal, I don't think Everton really threatened us that much. But what's your take on the game? Are you happy with it? Are you maybe a little bit disappointed like Chris? What way did you see it?
I'm happy. We got the 3 points. I think we set up to play that way. Like you said, we haven't got the striker to play, have we? So
yeah.
I'm not saying Everton's Man City, but we played the same way, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think it was more a case of getting the goals and getting the 3 points is more important than anything.
Yeah.
And we set up how we had to.
And the tactics worked, it has to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oshin is in as well. Good to see you, pal.
Sorry, I'm late. I don't have priorities. I'm late. I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is a fucking YouTube channel. This is not real life. But give us your thoughts on the game, Oshin. I'm ever the optimist as I try to be here. But what way did you see it? Are you happy? Are you disappointed? Is there concerns?
I echo what the lads said, and it was a very defensively we were solid as we were last week. I know, okay, we lost 3 last week, but we were solid up until 3-1. We were solid up until the first goal. We were. I mean, City are going to kill you, death by 1,000 cuts, but
yeah.
Today we were good. Evans and Varane seem to have struck up a partnership, which the last 2 games proven they're both solid at the back. But it's the other end of the pitch. Without Højlund, we are just so toothless. There's nothing there. When Garnacho and Rashford got in and Bruno, they were indecisive. And then when they made the decision, it was the wrong decision that they made.
Yeah.
And I worry if we lose Højlund again and we're in the hunt for 4th place and he goes down, I just worry where we're going to get the goals from if it's coming to the last few weeks where we are. And I see Chris's reaction. I don't think we're going to be in the hunt for 4th. I'm just saying, nice Jack, the ultimate optimist. Let's be always look on the bright side of life,
I hear you.
Otherwise, we're Liverpool fans.
Yes, exactly. No, I agree with you, and I think given the fact that injuries, the squad is decimated, the quality within the squad. I mean, I think Eric Ten Hag has probably, gotten to this himself now. I think he's basically saying, I will take 3 points however I can get them. Whether that's a defensive display, whether it's nicking a goal here and there. And look, I'm all for that. I really am. I want to get down through some maybe individual talking points. Casemiro's passing is the first one I have here, because it was the first point that I taken after about maybe 5 or 6 minutes. He gave it away probably 7 or 8 times. Is there a concern, Chris, about Casemiro? Maybe, look, I don't know if he's going to be there long term, maybe even after this summer. But, he looks to be on the slide. Is that fair to say? Or am I being too harsh?
A little harsh, but not too harsh. I mean, I am concerned with the passing. I mean, I'll be honest. It just seems like, we pass and look and don't pass and move. When when I watch, it's like when we have possession, like even when, like a couple times he gives away, it's like everybody's already moving. No one's moving after he gets the ball. They're already in position. So it's like pass and look, and then you got to get your head up and look to see where, no one's, it's not free moving, and everybody's kind of stagnant. And I think that leads to a lot of it. But his touch is a little bit off. Even his first touch, it's a little far away, reminiscent of Lukaku, a little rhino touch, a little bit in there. But I think we're caught in between trying to force and go forward and possess. Because sometimes you see Bruno come in and he's trying to hold, like, hey, just hold the ball. But we want to make that progressive pass, where I don't know where it's going to go, but, we're looking for that progressive pass up to the front. And I think we're caught in between. I think we're a little bit caught in between, because one person's doing one thing and another person wants to do another. And I think we just have to come together and be on the same page completely at that point.
Yeah. Oisín, what do you make of Casemiro? Is it maybe time for him to move on in the summer, or would you hang on to him?
I'd hang on to him for another season. Give Manu a full season beside him.
Yeah.
And see, let Mano learn more from him in that position. Getting back to the passing, Casemiro wasn't at fault alone today for passing. Manu's passing
absolutely.
was off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have this thing where it's just follow the ball for a breaking ball to get a return. The ball is kicked forward. My job is done. I'm not going to follow it. And there seems to be a sense, I'm watching it and going, is that a pre-rehearsed move that everyone knows who they're meant to be for that particular pass? A play has been called, and there's no, I suppose, audible that once that play breaks down, they're stuck in position for that play and they don't know how to get around that.
Yeah.
There's something I've been noticing the last few games I've been watching, that particular passes, people are in certain positions, and then once that play breaks down, they're out of position, and it doesn't help us.
Right, yeah. I get you. Let me get through some of the comments here and see what people have to say. Michael says Johnny Evans is solid at the back, surely a contender for man of the match. Desi says a win is a win, but in the final third, which is where we are strong in terms of players, the end product was dreadful. Darryl says a fair point, but we're still not at full strength. Neverworld says Highland's presence is sorely missed, especially a day like today where flashes of prime Bruno come back out. Still too loose through the midfield. Finn says we controlled the second half fairly well. Pretty happy with that, to be fair, after the humiliation last week. Reese says 3 points is 3 points. Danny says Casemiro's legs are gone. He's past his best. He's starting to slow down. He's still a good player, but should we cash in on him is the question. Yeah, I tend to agree with Oisín maybe that another season I would still go out into the transfer market and buy, your first choice starting, CDM and have Casemiro maybe in rotation. Whether he wants to do that, I don't know. Darryl says he couldn't pass the collection basket at Mass. Yeah, I have my hand down in it. Our off the ball movement is horrendous. There's very few there's very few any positional awareness or positional checks before receiving or moving the ball. I'll go to you on this one, Ben. I want to talk to you about the two penalties. Obviously, both Stonewall penalties. What do you make of having two different takers? Or would you prefer to have the same lad taking it twice?
Yeah, I didn't mind it today because Rashford needs a confidence down so the goal will do him good. So I reckon that's why he took it.
Yeah.
I think Bruno was more like, you can have this one.
Well, I think they did show a clip there where Bruno takes the ball and actually hands it over to Rashford. But do you think you would be saying that if fucking Rashford had missed?
No.
That's the question. There we go.
Well, it's a goal, isn't it?
Yeah. Any you guys have any issues with it?
It'd be a different story if one or two of them had missed, as you said. I mean, if Bruno had scored, handed the ball to Rashford sent that into Rose, it's a different story we're sitting there talking about, It's good. I like it in the fact that we've always had two penalty takers. We know we have two penalty takers with confidence that they scored their last penalties, which when you're taking a penalty is a confidence thing. So it's good going forward. Hopefully we just keep getting penalties to win the games because we're not going to score an open play the way we played today.
Yeah. Moving on from that as well, there is positives in the forward line. I think the big one today, Chris, was Alejandro Garnacho. Now, again, look, we know he's a young guy and maybe his decision making is not up to scratch of a bloody Paul Scholes or somebody like that. But he's direct. He runs at defence and he won 2 penalties today. What more would you like to see out of him, or are you happy maybe with where he is given the age that he's at?
No, I mean, I don't. I can't fault him for anything today. To be honest, I think I like the runs that he made because both of them are coming across the field. So it's not like he's just stuck on one side of. It's not like he's just stuck on one side of the field and he's trying to do everything on the right and everything. Like he's coming across the field. He came across on the first one and he was on the left side and. And even on the second one, he's coming across from the right into the middle. He's making good runs, and I like that about it. And everything. I mean, I can't say anything bad about him today. I mean, like O'Sheen pointed out at the beginning of the game, everybody was at fault for bad passing. Everybody gave the ball up. I mean, it was so we'll put that aside, and then we'll move on to something else. But other than that, I mean, looked dangerous when he got the ball. Looked direct. I'll be honest, I was actually impressed. I think he put forth more defensive effort today than he did against City.
Yeah.
Like fighting for the ball, getting in on guys, tracking back. So, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about that. I like the way we played, but like O'Sheen said, I agree with him that we're static when, guys get the ball. It's like, okay, pass. It's not pass and move, it's pass and what are you going to do with the ball? Like there's you're not, and you use the idea of the Xavi, Iniesta, and everything in Barcelona, where everybody's just moving throughout the midfield and just moving like this. We don't do that. I mean, But on a good note, I will point out that I'm excited for Højlund to come back, but we need to see Bruno play this way in the same manner when Højlund comes back, because if he does that, he's going to unlock Højlund for a lot, because the way he's been. You don't see him out wide. You see him in the middle. He's playing through the middle. He's playing the false 9 kind of role. And I think he needs to keep adapting that even though Højlund's on the field. You know what I mean? And you have him in front of you. And then if he plays that, he's going to play these little slip balls through the Højlund. And it's going to be magic, I think.
And do you think that it's the fact that he's been given that kind of more advanced role where he probably doesn't have to track back as much?
I think so. But, I mean, this is where it comes in. You got to know when you need to track back, and you got to know when you can stay up top a little bit. And, the one thing is, I don't want to harp on him, but, I mean, I like McTominay tried.
I knew it was coming.
But, I mean, let's put it this way. Okay. If you replace him with somebody that can actually move throughout the midfield and move the ball, our team takes an entirely different look. McTominay tried to make a couple really good passes, and he was just off. I'm not going to fault him. He had some good looks and everything like that. He was just a little heavy on him. But honestly, if you look at him, besides that, what did he really do today? Like, he wasn't. Yeah. So if you replace him with a midfielder that can move the ball in like a true number 8 and an engine with Bruno in front of him, you have something very good there, and I just think you need McTominay. The player that McTominay needs to be is a work rate midfielder. And then I think we have something really really good at that point.
So a question about Garnacho ended up with with Scott McTominay. I just want to, Oisin, ask you really quick about Garnacho. Is there a concern at all with you that we're playing him too much too soon? We look at the likes of Phil Foden last week, who's been drip fed into that Manchester City team over the last 4 or 5 years, you would say. Is it all coming a bit quick for Garnacho? And I know we don't have any options, but
it's like you're reading my mind with the question and the answer. I think 100% he is about 2 seasons ahead of where you would like him to be in terms of the amount of minutes he's playing for his age. He's not the Rooney at 18 who was just an animal, phenomenal.
Freak,
he's still finding his feet as a football player, and that's why the decision making isn't where we were used to seeing in United first team regular. I mean, the answer to your question clearly is we don't have an option. I would the only alternative we have is Anthony, and he's becoming an impact sub now. The roles reversed him last year, where Garnacho was the impact sub for Anthony.
Yeah.
And I look, if he gets through, I mean, his debut full season hasn't been a disaster. Hasn't been great. No. Has he lived up to the expectation we had after seeing him in fits and spurts last year? I would say no. But look, the future is bright for him, I think. I have no fear he's going to come good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely. Ben, I'll go to you on this one. Much improved performance, I think, today, even at left back from Lindelof. I thought he had a lot. I think he was a lot more solid. It looks like he's going to be our option at left back for the next few weeks at the bare minimum. So I suppose a happy positive to take away from the game.
Yeah, definitely did well. He's one of them players, though, isn't he, that can play there. He's one of them that you want in your squad because he can play any position along the back, really, can't he? So, with no options, let's play him there. He's done all right.
Yeah. And I think, did we extend his contract? I think we gave him, we triggered the 1 year extension. So,
yeah.
Would you move him on in the summer, or would you try to keep him for the final year and potentially maybe lose him on a free then the following summer?
I'd keep him as a squad player, definitely.
Yeah.
Like the problems we've got with injury is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think he's one of them players that kind of never has any issues with being a squad player. Never throws his ties out of the pram and just gets on and gets, works hard. Johnny Evans is a red, right? I mean, 36 years of age, Chris, and just putting in really, really good performances. And like Oisin mentioned there, seems to be striking up a very positive partnership with Raphael Varane. Now, we know there's limitations there with, pace and stuff, but I think what they lack in pace, they make up for in, the reading of the game. Like with a lot of them crosses that were put into the box today, either one of them are always in a really good position. And, I mean, is there any chance of him maybe staying on next season? As our first choice centre back.
Well, as a fourth choice center back, if he wants to stay, I don't see why not. I mean, I don't. I mean, because here's the thing: you know what you're going to get from him, and if he's okay being the squad player and playing here and there, yeah, I'm fine with it. Or because of injury, but I mean, we can't rely on that. That's the difference. So if you want, I mean, I think he's a good leader. I mean, I can't say anything bad about the last couple of games that he's played because he comes on, he does everything professionally. I mean, he reminds you of the Johnny Evans that played at Leicester. That when we played against him, he always in the way, always right there. Like it's like, why are you still here? Like, get away, get out of here. I mean, I think I don't have any worries when Johnny Evans plays. I mean, and to go back to the Lindelof thing. I think it really depends on the offers that come in for Lindelof. Because if you can cash in, then you got to cash in, and you got to, how many more squad players do? I mean, between the back, you're gonna. I mean, you hope that. To be honest with you, you hope that Kamwala, I think I said it right, can be what Lindelof is.
Yeah.
And I hope that you give him maybe the opportunity of that instead of keeping Lindelof. But I'm not opposed to it. But I think Johnny Evans professional, and if he wants to stay, I think he, as long as there's room for him on the squad, I think we should keep him. I mean, he's consummate professional.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Danny says Rashford was the same today as he was against City. He scored, but still had a poor performance. Hopefully, scoring will give him some confidence. I'm disagreeing there. I'm disagreeing. Yes. I think Rashford is getting unfair treatment. Oisín, I'll go to you on this one. Now, look, he didn't have an outstanding game. You know what I mean? But I think what he done, when he was on the ball, and I thought he was very positive, and I think his work rate was a lot better. So I'd say a much improved performance. Would you?
I'd caveat that with saying it couldn't get much worse than what it was.
Well, yeah, that's probably true.
So any slight improvement is an improvement. Now, look, I'm not going to bash him because he's a United player, but I do think that he's one of our leaders now. He's not an 18, 19-year-old kid who he's 26. Is he the longest serving player we have uninterrupted? He's there since Van Gaal's time.
We just got talking about Johnny Evans.
You brought up Rashford. I said uninterrupted.
Oh, uninterrupted. Sorry. I think you could be right, actually. Yeah. I think you're right.
So he should be one of the leaders. He should be leading by example. And again, his body language today wasn't great. There's just certain things. I don't think the end of the season can come quick enough for Rashford. I think he needs to get away, get his head right, get a good preseason, and then come back and hit the ground running. I think if he has a good, the Euros are this year, aren't they, Ben? You'd know more about that than we would.
We'll see about that in the rugby later, Ben.
Yeah.
England.
Watch along for that.
Who knows what's going to happen next year?
Rugby watch along.
But Chris, talk to me a little bit about Rashford. Obviously, Oisín mentioned the body language. Are we probably just getting used to the fact that his body language, he just doesn't have good body language on the pitch, even if he's playing well or not?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it probably might be a bad idea to go back and look at his body language last season when he was scoring 30 goals and see was he, moping around.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that he's moping today. I mean, I think you have to look at it in context of how is the team set up and what is he supposed to do. I mean, against City, we were set up to park the bus and counterattack. I mean, he did that. He did defensive work. He did. I'll be honest with you. He did more defensive work than Garnacho did against City. So, I mean, I mean, is he going to always be a positive, like body language, positive? Hey, rah, let's go. No, I don't think that's him. And we have either you accept it or you don't. And I think he did enough. I think he did enough today. Like Oisín said, it can't get much worse, but it can get much better. And I think it's trended in the right way instead of trending and staying in the wrong way. So, I mean, but again, like I went back and we talked about this mid-season or beginning of season. It's like, what are your expectations of Rashford going forward? Like if we have the right strikers and we have the right team, he's gonna only. I mean, I'm gonna say this nicely. You want more assists out of him than you want goals because he's playing on the wing. So therefore, everybody has to adjust to that idea. And I think the people that really get on him, and don't get me wrong, he's had his moments where he needed to be, he needed a little lashing. But when in reality, people have to understand that moving forward, he's not going to be a 30-goal scorer. Because if he is, then there's something has gone either really right or really wrong. I mean, the way you look at it. But
I think if we can get to a place where we're not reliant on him to be a 30-goal-a-season striker, then I think then we'll probably see him play an awful lot better.
100%. And I mean, I don't. And a friend of mine, he's not here today, but he's always said, he's a winger. He's not a leader. He's just a winger. So when people want to start to realize that, I think then he's gonna be playing better. Like I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Rooney, where maybe someone
listen to other things than the United Community Channel.
and it's sometimes we're forced to because but the thing is, like Rooney said, you just got sometimes he's a player you have to put your arm around instead of point the finger at. And I mean, to each their own. I mean, we've all known players that each player everybody you played with, you know who you can get on and you know who you can't because they're going to shut down.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I make no excuse for some of his performances because he's brought it upon himself.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Finn says we need to be clever when trimming the squad, because if we get a glut of players go, everyone will know we're desperate and we'll be bent over in the market all over again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a concern, really, isn't it? You would hope that the new structure coming in won't allow that, and you know you've got a head of recruitment, Dan Ashworth or whoever it may be. But yeah.
But that's why you bring in. That's why you pay the money and you bring in Ashworth. Is that he's not going to let that happen. And if he now let's be honest, we move forward and that happens, then we look at Ineos and go, it's the same old United. Like there's nothing that's changed. If Ashworth comes in and says, hey, we're going to go for, I'm just going to use a name, Kimmich, and all of a sudden Bayern saying, oh, we want 80 for him, and then we quickly move on and we end up getting someone else, then for less money and, you know, makes a better deal, then I go, okay, everything's positive. Everything's trending in the right direction at that point.
Yeah.
That's why, that's what he's, I mean, in my mind, that's what he's there for.
Yeah, absolutely. Lads, I think we'll leave it there. I'll let you go off and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by as always. I won't have a watch along now for another 3 weeks because we've got the international. Yeah, we've got the international break after next weekend.
We're not going to do anything for the internationals. Oh, that's right.
I might do some of the Ireland games actually. I love Jesus Christ watching John O'Shea on the sideline. I don't know.
How is that being received in Ireland, John?
No, I think it's been positive enough. You know what I mean? But I think the underlying issue is the fact that nobody really wants the Ireland job full time. So, I mean, there's managers at the bottom of the championship that are probably going to be getting paid more than an Ireland manager would, and I think that's a big issue as well. So, yeah, who would want it? But anyway, I don't know.
Well, we don't have to watch Ireland.
Yeah, well, I don't want to fucking watch. You know, I mean. But to be honest with you, with it, no, fuck it. But bye, Ben. But I mean, with international football, you know, you don't get Germany versus Spain in the group stage, which is, you know, you're always getting Azerbaijan versus France or something like that. They're just not really worth watching, to be quite honest with you. So, right, Oisín is gone. Right, lads, look, sure, I'll talk to you during the week. I'll be back as always, you know, throughout the week with the news shows and everything, and we'll have a nice little match day vlog from Old Trafford next week.
St. Paddy's Day next weekend.
St. Patrick's Day next Sunday for the game, yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. Ben, if you're around Manchester, give us a shout. We'll go for a pint.
No worries.
Yeah. Right, lads. I'll chat to you during the week. Thanks for stopping by.
Catch you later.
Take it easy. Thanks for watching as well, guys. If you haven't already done so, please do smash a like on the video. Helps the channel out an awful lot. Hit the subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. On the road to 8,000 subscribers. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow morning with the 5 talking points as always. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for that as well. And we'll have our new shows throughout the week as always as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll chat to you in a bit. Take it easy.